The cost of producing electricity seems to be continuously on the rise. Things like wholesale gas prices and how much sun and wind we receive can change the price at any moment. Demand is only going one way. We have the steady phase out of gas, technology that always brings us new gadgets, and petrol prices that are pushing people towards EVs and electric vehicles faster than ever. The government seems set on us footing the bill, rather than forcing energy companies to reduce profits, at the same time as taking excess solar energy off us without paying us a fee after they scrap the feed-in tariff, making solar panels less viable. The need for electricity isn't something we can just get rid of, but it is something we can tame in regards to our usage and wastage. The tips in this video will help you become more eco-friendly whilst lowering your bills. For those of you that have solar panels or got in while the going was good, well done. Make the most of them while the sun shines, no pun intended. Even with solar panels, these tips will still help you reduce your energy wastage and energy bill. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number one is reducing what you pay. And although the energy tariffs are really high at the moment if you get a fix-in deal, it's always worth keeping an eye out. And if you are on the price cap, your current provider is likely to be one of the best places to find a really good deal because they want to keep your custom. Number two is checking if you have economy 7 or a cheaper night rate than day rate. If you do, make the most of it. Set your dishwasher and washing machine to come on at night when it's far cheaper, or if you have an electric vehicle, charge that at night rather than as soon as you get home straight from work. Number three is to reduce phantom loads. What's a phantom load? Well, phantom loads are things we keep on standby. So electronics use a tiny amount of electricity when they're waiting for us to use them. Some use more than others. And although it's a small amount of electricity, think of everything in your house you have left on when it's plugged in. This all adds up over the course of the year. So we really need to get into the habit of turning things off, like TVs, electronics. The best way of keeping on top of this is to use an extension lead or a multi-way extension lead. So where your TV is, you might have your surround sound, you might have a DVD player, you might have a PlayStation, you could have a Apple TV box, whatever it might be. Plug them all into the same power lead so you only have one socket in the wall, and then when you're done you can simply flick the switch and you turn the whole lot off at the same time. One way I like to incorporate this is with smart plugs. So I've got Nest and I'll have it on my phone so that if I forget I go to work, it's a click of a button and it's all turned off. Number four is turning off lights when they're not in use. We should always open curtains first, turn them off when we're watching TV and things like that, and when we're leaving the room for a long period of time or just popping upstairs to get something to mess about, turn them off. You can turn them back on again as soon as you get back in the room. Whilst we're on the subject, if you haven't done so already, you really need to change all your light bulbs to LEDs. Some people might have compact fluorescent seal, so the ones that look like pretzels. Even them use far more electricity than LED bulbs. Now understand if you don't want to change them all at once, but as they break, replace them with LEDs and you'll save 85% electricity use. Number five, turn your fridge thermostat up. So you know that little dial in the back is usually from 1 to 5. If it's sitting at 2, turn it up to 3. This means it's not going to keep your stuff as cold, but you really won't notice. It's going to use far less electricity because it isn't trying to get the food so cold. And while you're there, make sure you shut the door as soon as possible. When you get the milk out to make a cup of tea, make sure it goes back in. You've paid to cool that fridge down, and as soon as you open the door, you're letting it out. The quicker you shut the door, the less work it has to do. Another thing that's working hard is something that we don't see, and that's the radiator at the back of your fridge. Now this dissipates heat, and the colder it is in the fridge, the hotter this will be at the back. And when it's covered with dust and crap, it's effectively insulated, and it's not getting rid of heat as efficiently as it could do, and as a result the compressor works a lot harder. So every now and again, just clean it and it will work so much better. Also try and keep a tiny gap between the radiator and the wall. If you butt it right up to the wall, again there's no airflow, so it's going to work a lot harder. Number six is using washing machines and dishwashers effectively, and this can mean many things. This could mean having eco modes, or it could be half cycles. If you haven't got those, try to only use it when it's full, so you'll end up doing less washes and less dishwashes over the course of a year. And if you can't do any of those things, do a 30-degree wash. You're not using as much electricity because you're not heating the water up to a high temperature. Once you've washed your clothes, make sure you're trying to dry them outside if possible, or get a clothes horse or airer and do it inside. Don't use that tumble dryer. They take so much electricity, it's unreal. Number 7, and that's using the oven less. No, I don't mean takeaways, unfortunately, but there's a huge drain on your power when you use your oven. So if you can use it less often, this has massive benefits. Some people like to batch cook, so you could do 2 meals in one, you could do a lunch and a dinner, or you could freeze your food for a later date. But what I like to do is use an air fryer and a slow cooker. They use a fraction of the energy, and I think a lot of foods actually taste better. If you haven't tried chips and air fryer, get on it, you won't be disappointed. Number 8 is having efficient appliances. Now, I'm not suggesting you throw them away and buy new ones, but when they break, try and replace them with the most efficient appliance you can afford. Places like Facebook Marketplace are great for old appliances. People change their mind, they want a different colour, they want a larger capacity washing machine. You can get things that are relatively new for really good money. Number 9 is to take shorter showers. And not only will you save electricity if you have an electric shower, you'll save water as well, and if you don't have an electric shower, you'll save on gas or however you heat your water. Finally, number 10 is only boiling the amount of water you need. So this goes for kettles when you're making a cup of tea, but it also goes for when you're cooking things like vegetables. Only just cover the vegetables. And if you are making gravy afterwards, use the vegetable water. It will taste better and you've already paid to heat that water. Even better still is to steam your vegetables. This takes less water and it takes less energy. And if you're doing something in a pot underneath, you can get stackable pots that have holes in the bottom. You can put your vegetables in them, so you're cooking multiple things at once. Now, I appreciate that some of these simple tricks you might have already known, but hopefully there was 1 or 2 in there that you didn't, and now you can use them going forward. In the comments below, share your tips and tricks so all of us can get on board with them. And check out these videos next for more money saving ideas.